5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel, Full House MMA. If you enjoy the content, please do like and subscribe to my channel. That gives me an idea of who's watching the videos, what kind of videos I should make, which ones I should stay away from, and just who my audience is in general. So, again, Colby Covington does not disappoint, and I'm not shocked, nor am I surprised. And I just did a video a couple of days ago about whether the beef between Masvidal and Colby was even real. Because if I'm being honest, how can you even tell? Colby talks shit about everyone, literally. And if you fought in the UFC, he would be talking crap about you too. No one is off limits. It doesn't even, with Colby, it doesn't even have to be someone who is in his weight class. He just is much obliged to talk junk about anyone. And you know, if some of you may have heard in the news that Jon Jones' fiance left him recently. That's a whole nother video. I'm not going to get in too deep on that one, and I'm not sure if I want to touch that one anyway, because it has to do with domestic abuse, and you know, the jury's still out on, you know, the details of that instance with Jon Jones and his fiance in Las Vegas a few months back that we all, you know, heard about. That famous instance, or should I say infamous instance, where Jon was supposedly physically abusive to his fiance. Well, Jon Jones comes out with a tweet a couple of days back that said his fiance left him a couple of months ago, has made it official as of today that she's not going to be coming back. And to the Jon Jones haters, have a toast. I feel like shit. So, you know, this is obviously not happy news as it relates to Jon Jones. You know, this is a woman that he shares, I think, 3 children with. But, you know, if he's beating on her or being physically abusive, obviously that's a choice that she had to make for her own welfare and for the welfare of her children. So, you know, again, I'm not going to go too deep into that situation particularly, but you know, Colby Covington not only used to room with Masvidal, but he also in college was a roomie of Jon Jones. This just goes to show you, this to me is a case in point proof that the things that Colby is saying about Jorge Masvidal, you cannot prove that the beef between those two guys is real. Now, I said in my video that I didn't care if the beef was real or not. In fact, if they're still friends and the beef is not real, that almost, to me, brings more intrigue to the fight, because these guys are good friends and they're going to go in there and take each other's heads off in the octagon. So, you know, for me, that kind of brings more intrigue to the fight, and I talked about that. But this only supports that you can't point to the things that Colby is saying about Jorge Masvidal and say, hey, see, look, he said this, that means the beef is real. He said that means the beef is real. Listen, it doesn't matter if it was a friend of his, a former friend of his, a former roommate. No one is off limits to Colby Covington. He has truly become a heel, and he has taken on that role, and you very seldom see him break from that role. We saw a couple little glimpses of it, you know, in his last fight with Kamaru. You know, the cameras and the microphones were a little bit too close, and so the public got wind of Colby actually saying a couple of nice words to Kamaru, something to the effect of, you know, it's all love, and just, you know, selling the fight, that sort of thing. Of course, Colby denied this vehemently when he was questioned about it, you know, on Submission Radio that very following week. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, in other words, Colby has become the heel. That's the persona that he's put forward in his fight career, and it's been working for him. You can't deny that it's been working for him. You know, whether it's good press or bad press, it's press. and it brings attention to the fighter. Same reason Conor McGregor is one of the biggest stars, in the sport, because, hey, Conor McGregor was one of the biggest heels in the sport, and he was entertaining to watch because it was no holds barred and no one was off limits. He would put anyone under his thumb, and he was quick-witted, and it was just something that kind of flowed for him. Anyway, I'm getting way off the subject here. Sorry about that. I'm kind of on a tangent. Jon makes the comment about, if you're a Jon Jones hater, have a toast, but I feel like shit. And Colby Covington obliged Jon Jones, and he commented back at Jon Jones, "Great, tremendous news. You must have finally knocked some sense into her." Man, Colby Covington is a savage, and nothing is off limits for this guy. There are pictures of he and Jon Jones hanging out together in college. They roomed together in college. So Jon Jones is undoubtedly either formerly or still a friend. Colby Covington is going to say what he knows is going to get him some headlines, which, I find it ironic because they're in completely different weight classes, and there's really no chance that Colby and Jon are ever going to fight. So with that said, maybe he's stepping a little bit out of his parameters here. I don't know. It's Colby, man. You can never tell. But my point remains, if you're trying to look at the things, that Masvidal and Colby used to room together, and they were good friends, and now look at all the stuff he's saying to him, talking about his wife and his family and how he's a horrible father and all these other things. The beef must be real, right? It has to be, because who would ever say that about someone who is a friend or a former roommate or anything like that? Colby Covington, that's who. And he proved it once again with his public attack on Jon Jones regarding his fiance leaving him. Now again, a lot of people are going to look at this, and Colby knows this too. A lot of people are going to look at this and say, well, he's excused, man. Jon Jones was accused of, possibly hitting his wife, so Colby's excused. And I'm not at all condoning, being physically abusive towards your wife. I have a wife, and I would never lay a hand on her, and she knows that. So I'm 100% on the same page with you with that. But this just further proves that for Colby Covington, friend or not, roommate or not, no one is off of the list. Everyone can get it in terms of the wrath of the heel, Colby Covington. So that's what I got, and I appreciate you guys listening to me rant. Full House MMA. If you love the content, please do subscribe to it, and I will see you next time. Peace, guys.